What would it be like if every human being knew how valuable they are? Oh Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my lips, you know it completely, O Lord. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. What would it be like if every person knew that they were created in the image of God?
You want to be a drag queen and your parents don't let you? You need new parents.
I'm a man. My ID say female, he's being rude. Know your pronouns. Know your pronouns. It is man.
LGGBDTTTIQQ.
Line to mom.
The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish.
The issues are unavoidable. They're on the news.
I did not have a chance to comment on how good the White House looked in rainbow colors.
They're in our legislation.
The Texas bathroom bill.
In our schools.
Drag Queen Story Hour.
Our entertainment, our social media. They're even reaching into our churches.
Let us be the church together.
They're causing families to question everything they thought they knew.
I was being asked to choose my child and my church. I chose my child.
And they're pushing everyone who calls themselves a follower of Christ to wrestle with the question, what does God think about all this? Can you be gay and Christian? What if you genuinely feel like you're trapped in the wrong body? Did God make you this way? Is change even possible? Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Brown. I've spent years researching and writing and speaking on these topics, and through my daily radio program and in many face-to-face encounters, I've had countless people ask me these very same questions. Some of them quite desperate, many of them in tears. Each one represents a person or family member or loved one who's struggling deeply with their core identity. We're not just talking about issues, we're talking about people. People created in God's image, people loved by the Father, people for whom Jesus died. These are fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, people with real stories, real hurts, and real desires. Every church in America is facing this. Our congregations are filled with hurting people who have questions and fears, and they wonder, does God hate me? Will the church reject me? Can I be myself, or must I live in the shadows and loneliness and pain? Many feel trapped in bondage, and we as followers of Jesus hold the key that can set them free. Yet there's some professing Christians who bring a message of hate rather than love. They not only disagree with homosexuality, but they have a loathing and a hatred for those who practice it. And this makes the rest of us look bad because it's a sin to hate someone who's made in the image of God. This is not the gospel. This is not the heart of God. And rather than drawing the LGBT community to Jesus, this only drives them further away. That doesn't mean that compromise is the answer. It doesn't mean we need to rewrite the Bible. But we do have to be willing to step out of our comfort zones and engage with those who are lost and hurting. We have to see them the way Christ does. Many of them have heartbreaking stories, and they're desperate for someone to care enough to just stop and listen.
My name is Stephen Black. I'm here from Oklahoma City. I've lived here my whole life. In my most formative years of development of sexuality, I went through a brutal time of sexual distortion, molestation, led me into a lifestyle of being gay identified for 8 years, had this radical transformative experience with Jesus Christ, and the moment that happened, everything changed. So now going back into my childhood in the formation of homosexuality. Most people have traumas. I mean, you look at Ellen, you look at Rosie, you look at these figures on television that, everybody applauds as gay, but you look at their histories and they're terrible. They're riveted with childhood sexual abuse. And true of my story, I was molested at 6 by a friend of the family, brought me in telling me what a sweet boy I was and that this was our little secret. And the difficult thing about abuse victims is they don't attribute it to something abuse, because abuse means usually in a person's mind something that hurts. They didn't understand that it actually was devastating in that it robbed them of their innocence. And that's what happened to me. At 10 years of age, I was also molested by a visitor visiting the next door neighbor. Oklahoma summer, it's really hot. I have cut off jeans, shorts. I'm putting up the croquet set, and this man follows me into the garage. He comes over the top of me and begins molesting me and telling me, the abused, that I wanted this and that it was my fault because I didn't have a shirt on. And so a lot of times children will hear things like this and they'll go, oh, it is my fault. And there's a part of, if it, feels good, it's like, why is my body responding? I ended up, by the time I was in 8th grade, being bullied, being beaten. One day they followed me home and beat me up. I had 2 black eyes. The words sissy, queer, faggot spoken over me. So by the end of that summer, I was depressed and I was going to take my life. This friend came over and he says, I know why you're depressed. You think you're gay. It's okay. I'm bisexual. Here, let me show you. And took me into the dark side, of sex. And then introduced me to the gay community. People see, a lot of times they'll see the angry people on the gay pride parades, and as ugly and dark as that is, there's also a person behind that, a child. That's somebody's little boy, that's somebody's little girl, and what happened to them.
My name's Denise Schick, and I am passionate talking to anybody about this because as a child growing up with a father that identified as being transgender, I understand the pain that secretly many families are hiding, the trauma that children experience when losing a parent to another identity. It was a summer day when my life had changed. I was washing the dishes, my mother was at work, and my dad walked in the door and he said, Denise, come on outside, I want to talk with you. And we sat on a small hill outside of our home. And the first words out of his mouth were, I want to become a woman. I was trying to comprehend as